Hello everyone, in today's video we're going over version 1.25 of GTOBase. We have improved the GTO Trainer interface, and we have also expanded functionality for creating training sessions. Please like and subscribe and have a good time watching. Let's go. Let's start with the libraries of GTO solutions. We can go to View, we can go, for example, 6max cache, and choose any library that we like. For example, for NL500, we also have postflop libraries, or to be more precise, NL500 with 2.5 BB's open race. Yeah, this is the library we were talking about before, the library with postflop solutions. So yeah, we can check this one out as an example, and if we click here, we see solutions for different stack sizes from 40 BBs up to 200 BBs. Yeah, you see all the options: 40, 50, 70, 100, 150, 200. And if we are actually interested in the postflop solutions, we can go here, choose NL500, open race 2.5. We can choose any stack size that we want, and we can choose the postflop situation. Could be single race pot, 3-bet pot, and so on. Okay, now we have a situation where UTG open raises 2.5, then hijack folds cut off 3 bets to 8 BBs, everyone folds, UTG calls. Flop is queen 10-7, and just to make it simpler and easier to study, we only used one donk bet sizing. But if UTG checks, then we have a few sizings for the cutoff player. Well, actually there are three options: 1/3, 2/3, and then overbet. We can also take a look at smaller stack sizes, for example 40 BBs. We can check out what 3-bet sizings we use here. If UTG raises 2.5, hijack can 3-bet to 6.5. And of course you can also 3-bet shove to 40 BBs. If, for example, UTG folds and cutoff player open raises, button has also an option to 3-bet to 6.5 BBs. And finally, if everybody folds till the small blind has two options, which are open limp and raise to 3 BBs. And against this open raise, bigger blind can either call or raise to 9 BBs or raise all in. There are actually a lot of different libraries for 6max, and you can use all of those for free right now. You can use both preflop solutions and postflop solutions absolutely free of charge. We have solutions for NL50 for different open raises, NL100, NL200, NL500 with postflop solutions, NL1000, we have cheap EV models, and we have old NL500 solutions. Well, maybe for those who used these solutions before and got used to them and want to have access to them. Okay, now let's move to GTO Trainer updates. If you want to start training instantaneously and go to this InstaTrain button, you see a new window with a new interface. What options do you have here? You can choose a library from all of the libraries that we have. Then you can choose a certain spot you want to work on, and you don't have to work through all the hands from beginning to end. You can now start from a certain node in the hand, from a certain action, or you can only study preflop situations or postflop situations. So you don't have to manually choose a certain node if you want to work on your postflop skills or preflop skills. Everything will either start from a postflop or end after a preflop. For example, if we want to work on our postflop skills, we can choose either a single raise pots or 3-bet pots for button versus big blind situations. But let's say we want to work on limp pots in heads up. So we choose heads up, then we choose postflop, then we choose limp pots. Now we can choose what to work on, could be certain street, could be a certain action, and we also can choose the way the positions will change. It could be random or it could change after each hand. Well, let's say we want to switch positions every hand. Now we can choose stack sizes, which stack sizes we want to work on. So we can choose all these text sizes we want to work on. Let's say we want to work on all these text sizes from 12 to 25 BBs. Then we can choose hero position, let's say any, out of position, in position, don't care, preflop action, don't care. We've already selected limp pots, so this one doesn't matter at all. And beside all of that, we can also add some filters on the board structure. First of all, you can choose a certain subset of boards. These are the same subsets that we have in simple postflop, 25, 74 and 184. And if you want to get familiar with those subsets, we can open simple postflop. Then we click this little generate boards button, and here we can choose a subset of boards right here. Again, 25, 74 and 184, and finally all the boards 1755. And here we can see which boards are actually part of a certain subset. After we're done with filters, we click start and we get to practice. Okay, here on the left we have different settings. For example, we can edit the configuration, we can change the filters that we use, change the settings anytime we want pretty much. Then we have this little menu with a lot of icons. First icon allows us to choose whether we want to get to the next hand automatically or manually. So for example, if you finish the hand or you made a mistake, if this feature is on, then you will get a new hand automatically. If this one is off, then you have to get to the next hand manually. For example, if you want to go over a hand in more detail. Next one is hero position shuffle. Well, here we can select the way the position switch could be one by one consequently or at random. Next icon allows us to show little hints. So if we turn this on, we see those little hints next to the buttons. Next, we can enable or disable pop-ups. Those appear when we mouse over the strategy. Let me show you. For example, if we choose a certain action here, let's say bet. We should start a new hand. Let's say we choose bet here. And now we see that this is a mistake, and we can take a look at our strategy here. And if you mouse over it, you see this little pop-up window. But if we disable pop-ups, then we see nothing. Next one, show hotkeys. So if we click on this one, we can see very useful hotkeys that we can use to navigate GTO Trainer. Next, we can choose the way we see sizings, could be big blinds or percentage of the pot. We can show or hide equities. We can show or hide our opponent's strategy. So for example, here we can see how often he chooses this certain action, how often he checks, but we can't see his whole strategy. And finally, we can disable sound effects. Okay, what do we have on the right? We have our strategy, we have both ranges, villains and ours. We can copy this range over our opponent's range, and we can see those ranges in frequencies or in EVs or in equities. If you want to, we can use this information as a little tip during our practice. We can also take a look at big blind equities. Then we have hand strengths category. Here we see to which part of our range our actual hand belongs. So for example, here we see that our sixes are in the 39th percentile of our range. Then we have a breakdown of our strategies with all the combos and all the draws. And finally, equity linear is basically equity distribution of both ranges. Here below the controls, we have session stats. We have all the session information, how many hands we played, how many moves we made, how many mistakes we made, how many moves were correct actually, how we played and how GTO played. And we can hide all this information anytime we want. If we want to focus on the session, we can hide all of those. We can actually move this column out of the screen. Same for the right hand column. And now let's go over the section at the bottom. The interface here has been changed a little bit, so the actions are now displayed a little differently. And if you want a more detailed breakdown of a hand, you click here, and we see it just the way we're used to seeing it in InstaHand or in Hands report. Now let's go over different filters. Let's choose a small blind versus big blind spot. Let's say we want to work on our preflop play for stacks between 12 and 14 BBs, where there's still a lot of push folding going on. Okay, let's say we want to work on our big blind play in the small blind versus big blind spot, so we have to choose versus open, because if we choose RFI, then we are bound to be on the small blind. So yeah, versus open, big blind, and let's go for the stacks from 9 BBs to 13, let's say. And let's get started. Okay, now it's small blind versus big blind against a raise. Could be open shove, of course, could be a mean raise, or 2.5 or 2.25, depending on the library. And yeah, we choose actions, and this way we practice our shove fold game. Go to the next hand. 8-9 is a fold against a shove. Let's turn off all the hints, all the equities, everything that can help us. If you want to open this little replayer of any hand, we just click on evaluate, and we can show GTO ranges here just to see how the spot plays out overall. For example, here with this certain hand, 6 deuce offsuit, we fold 100%, and calling would actually be a big mistake, minus 2.48. But with our range overall, we fold 62% of hands and we call 38% of hands. Okay, this video is coming to an end. If you have any suggestions or questions, please join our Discord community, where you can find information on GTO strategies and basically everything that is poker related. We are also happy to answer all of your questions in the comments below or on 2+2. All the links to the resources mentioned in this video you can find in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to keep track of all the updates. See you soon!